All right, welcome to another video from the chart readers. We are continuing our EV sector review looking at NKLA and RIVN. I mean, real quick, there's nothing more I hate than horizontal trading. I talk about that often, and you can definitely see it here, right? I'm not looking to put my money horizontally. I want it to go up, right? If I want horizontal, I'll just take it to Bank of America and call it a day, right? So before we go deeper in the details, real quick, what are we going to do today? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how things are setting up. We have our 5 moving averages, these horizontal support and resistance lines, and then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Real quick, if you can please like and subscribe, it does really well with the YouTube algorithms. Nonetheless, I sincerely appreciate your time and I'm so glad you're here, okay? And if you disagree with anything, please throw it in the comments, all right? I am not all-knowing or perfect, and I'd rather you tell me than my money get lost in the market, you know what I mean? So, two-way street here. All right, let's get into the details, right? So I generally say there are 3 kinds of trading, trends, I guess, right? There's down, there's horizontal, and up. Clearly, I didn't make that up. Not much, technical analysis goes into that, right? The goal is to avoid down and horizontal. And what sucked a little bit here is you can clearly see it goes from horizontal to up. And, there are a few strings of red, but there's no, this guy, right? Where it's just such a good long trail of reds. That's really what's been making these EV sector, that's what's been doing it well, right? Which one is this? NKLA, excuse me. There's this, all right, couple red lines to fill, and you can see it fills it. But then it gets to this peak right here and actually kind of takes away from most of that one too, right? So if all this was a little I would call it uglier, right? If this whole thing went red, 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 this chart would have been so much different. But that's really what I see here is just a couple choppy strings of red versus, a beautiful string of red. Obviously, it's beautiful if you didn't have your money up here and watching it go down here, right? It's beautiful when I see that happen months ago and I'm hoping that we fill it, right? And ultimately, it was about getting over this line. Okay, if 308 broke, that's when we would have been talking about this, right? So before that happened, all we really did was, end up going in not super tight, but a cluster of 3 lines, right? As much as it would battle between the 8 and the 20, which you've seen on so many stocks is no joke, it would just quickly get near the 50 and get scared and come back, right? Happens right there, happens basically there, happens right there, happens right there. I'd like to say the 5th time, right? After the 5th attempt is something should happen. This one at least went up, but again, if you're gonna break, go up. This is a nice break. Don't go down, right? Look how low the RSI was. I guess it was 70, but still, we've seen so many stocks living up here, right? So I think this just has to do with the fact that NKLA is still a little unproven, right? I'm not here to talk bad about the stock and all that. We're not going to talk about this and that. I'm not even going to talk about it, right? I'm not even going to bring them up. But more than anything, I think this just needs to deliver a little more. Look, I live in LA. I see RIVN pickup trucks, more often than you'd expect, and they look cool. And at some point, I think it does something in my head that, hey, maybe RIVN's a little more established to me. I swear I don't know the dollars behind them. I don't know the outputs. I don't know any fundamental anything. But the fact that I see RIVNs just drive by me and this NKLA semi-truck's never been released and things like that, right? So I think there's still a little prove to me on this stock. And hey, there are other stocks that we follow that still have so much proof to me but are able to go up. And I think a lot of that has to do with the structure of the red candles. And honestly, this is a beautiful spacing of the moving averages. So it could have done some really good things if it wanted to. But yeah, clearly where are we at now? Under the 8. Looks like this 50 is trying to bounce it though, right? So we come here and hey, we're at least back but this green line looks like it's coming down. There's no more, hey, kind of going up. And honestly, I think that this orange line is kind of getting ready to come down too, right? So those are two bad lines to go down for sure. So hopefully this 50 bounce does something, right? Because we kind of broke it. Like we've bounced on it a couple times. Actually tried to bounce on the 20 a couple times too. So let's see what happens. Yeah, and then again, that's up there. So yeah, that's not too bad on the day. Look, this isn't a great weekly. There have definitely, like, this is now the fifth stock I'm looking at, and this is probably the worst on the weekly, right? Definitely a couple of weeks over the 8, but nothing over the 20 for a good while. This was decent, but no good confirmation, right? So I say it often, if you don't have a good weekly, you can only expect so much from your daily, right? So yeah, a lot of different things would have happened if it started to go back and forth. If this broke the 20 on the weekly, a lot of different things would have happened if this broke the 100 on the daily. Clearly, neither happens. And now it's a little more, hey, can we hold versus, you know, are we about to break this blue line? But hey, I'll say it again, and I'll actually just set the alert right now. I am more than excited if it breaks, I'll call it even 209. Give me a cent over that 208 line. Let me know. For me, I would much rather trade this than play around underneath that line. Just my personal style of trading, right? I'd rather go to bed and wake up feeling like I'm going to make money versus go to bed, wake up, and wonder if I'm going to make money or lose money. You know what I mean? So different styles, different risk and rewards, right? All that sort of noise. Okay, RIVN. So look, this is what I was talking about. If NKLA had something like this, it would have been a little cleaner. And look, it doesn't look like much, but it actually starts to capture a decent amount of that gap right there. Not quite 50. Look, the wick runs to about 50%, right? You can see it right there. Someone filled a good amount of that gap for sure. But, you know, this 50 moving average clearly was just too much and it stopped it. But you can't get too mad, especially, again, looking at the wick. Someone hit it, like about 50% of that gap was filled, right? So not too shabby, right? Again, we just talked about it, that 50 fail. You can't even really call it a fail, right? There was no real candle that even came close to it. But yeah, the quick and drop, but still over the 8, right here is where it starts to get scary, right? You do get the confirmation that you're under the 8, but look, this 20 right here, again, say it often, right? Under the 8 and the 20 are horrible, over the 8 and 20 are good. And right now, I'm really happy that we did bounce up, but I'm definitely sad that we're under the 8. Did we get over that one? What did this open at? So this opened at 1947. All right, we at least closed like a cent over that. Clearly, 50% of this would have been a little better, right? Obviously, getting over this one would have been even better, right? But I'll take the 50 bounce. I wish we were over the 8. And ultimately, these 3 lines, the 50, the 8, and the 20, might just kind of start going horizontal, right? One more time. I'm actually going to set a different, oh, I didn't even set an alert on this one. So I'm going to set an alert. What's the top of this one? 2088. Let's set it at 2090. Let me know when we hit 2090. And yeah, I'll be real interested because, again, break this candle. So many red little lines that breaks, candles to break, right? It should be an easy run. Oh man, that's over it. It should be an easy run to this, maybe a wick up to here. You know what I mean? So yeah, again, going from 20 to 27 is a little more than 30%, right? Because every 2 is 10%. I mean, I'll take that all day. Going above the red line to the blue line should be much easier trading than in between or well below, obviously, right? Again, there is no safe trading. That is an illusion. Nothing is guaranteed, but, you know, the little resistance over a moving average, good spacing between the next one. There's just things you can do to kind of tip the balance a little bit. And look, that's how Vegas makes their money, right? If they can win 52% of the time and everyone else loses 48, yeah, there are people doing way better than me that have open casinos, right? So interesting weekly, all right? We are definitely still over the 8. It looks like we've at least for them, and again, it's still a little early in the week, right? But we're trying to retake at least 50% of this red candle. Oh man, what is this doji at? Yeah, 1990. 1990 is going to be a pretty big number. What did I just set my alert at? It was around there, right? It was 2090 is what it was. Interesting. Where's 1990 at? What line is that? It's this guy, give or take. Interesting. All right. I could see this. I could see. All right. All right. All right. I'm not going to set a new alert. I'm not going to go against what I just said. But yeah, if this breaks, that could be pretty nice as well, actually, a 20 instead of that basic 21 line that I drew. So, all right. Okay. What am I doing here? Let's just set the alert. Let's set it at, let's set it at 2002. It's a good little, palindrome of a number, I guess. So again, Rivian, I would see a little more hope in it because again, I love this, right? And it's close enough to hopefully it'll bounce off this and make a good another temp on the top. The first one, Polestar. No, not Polestar. Sorry, Nikola. I don't know. Like I said, that one's just a little more prove it for me before I feel it. But again, I hope you're learning. I hope you like these videos. And again, let me know if you disagree with anything. I'm super receptive to like opposite opinions. I'm not going to take offense or anything. You know what I mean? So hey, have a great one. Sincerely appreciate your time.